Hey guys, it's your friend AJ. Now this video is going to be a little bit edgier than normal, so be prepared for that. Okay, this opinion is going to be real freaking raw. You know this movie, Valerian and the City of the Thousand Planets? Well, it sucks balls. Everyone already seems to know that. And there's a lot of different opinions on it. But did you know it's also fucking racist? Oh, I can't say that. No, accusing something of being racist. Nah, let the nerds do that. I have another channel. I'll do that kind of analysis there. I don't want to focus on that type of thing here. But anyway, I think this movie could have still been successful, even if we ignored and still continued with all the problems of it being fucking racist. Like, yeah, I never want to say racism or sexism is forgivable or anything, but I still think this movie had a pathway to being successful with what it had, but it just screwed up on that. And I'm going to tell you right now exactly what it was. You see, there are many other YouTubers, even big name ones, that cover all these lists of different reasons, or because other movies were coming out at the time, or because people didn't really know the source material, or because, you know, the actors and actresses weren't really all that well. Fuck that shit. Let me tell you the real fucking reason. It's quite clear in the very first scene that you meet the main characters. This movie could have done well to draw in a certain kind of audience if it just banked on a character-driven story, rather than this idea of being a kind of fun, wacky sci-fi world where we see different sci-fi concepts. It shouldn't have focused on that. Maybe that's what the director felt reading the books, but all good sci-fis are ultimately character-driven stuff. So maybe this movie just wants to have the setting of the sci-fi world to be adventurous, different worlds, wow, fun, crazy. Okay, that is sort of the style over substance. The real substance could have been the characters. But in that sense, they screwed up big. And like I said, you can tell they screwed up right from that first scene. So while there are many reasons why people say this thing failed, I think the real big reason is because there was no connection to the main characters on the simple premise that we should be drawn in on the relationship between Laureline and Valerian. But in that first scene, you don't get a sense that these are adult, mature people, kind of an intense chemistry between them, a will they, won't they. You know what I see? They're fucking kids. These are a bunch of freaking kids. This is a boy. This is a girl. These are just little kids to me. Listen, I'm not saying they're not attractive. They're obviously very beautiful people. This guy, Dane whatever. Listen, Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne are very beautiful young people. And I'm young too. Guess what? Dane? He's as old as me. I know, you're like, no way, this guy's a freaking boy. Yeah, it's not just me who thinks that. Despite the fact that I admit he's a very attractive person, and I think he's an excellent actor. He might be able to do a lot of great things. I've seen interviews with him. He's a smart guy. But many have noticed that his good looks has to do with the fact that he looks like a freaking boy. Anyway, I'm not even blaming him. You can't blame a guy for looking a certain way. It's the casting director. The casting director who had made the decision to cast these people to portray a certain kind of relationship in Valerian and Laureline, which was the original thing. It wasn't just about Valerian. It wasn't Valerian. It was Valerian and Laureline. That was the original comic-based source. I don't know what went into the decision to drop the Laureline from the title, but that was the beginning of the downfall of why this would fail, because they wouldn't be able to bank on the best thing about this movie, or what could have been the best thing about this movie, the relationship between the characters. And it's so cringe that they actually did a trailer kind of which took these lines about the relationship, only for us to watch this first scene with these characters and notice that they have no chemistry. None of this is natural, and these people, they look like kids. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm not criticizing Cara, and I'm definitely not criticizing Dane. He deserves more, they both do. But whoever the director is, I mean, somebody should have told this guy, get freaking jacked, yo, put on some muscle or something, grow some stubble beard, because Valerian from the comic books is supposed to be this cool guy, space cowboy type of dude. And they are clearly trying very hard to demonstrate that Dane is this person here. But he looks like a boy.
Hey, be a man.
Ah, geez, this girl looks like a girl. They could have told this boy to get jacked. Why didn't they just tell him to put on some muscle? I mean, I've seen other boys go through transformation getting jacked. They did it with Tom Holland. I mean, Tom Holland, he's still a freaking boy even when he gets jacked. And he's way younger than me. But at least they amped up the masculineness when he did eventually get jacked. But they didn't tell him to do that for this movie. And like I said, this is not his decision. It's not Dane's decision. It's the casting director or the directors not to be able to prepare their actors for what should have been the most bankable and best case scenario for this movie, that you could have drawn in a couples to see what is basically a kind of space sci-fi adventure with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But you didn't get some kind of masculine, attractive, suave, Brad Pitt type of guy. You got a boy and you got this young girl. And listen, Cara Delevingne, she's really beautiful, she's a beautiful face and everything. But their choice just to show her right off the bat, show her body like that, which is like, I'm not gonna criticize or comment anything about her body, but the way they're showing it as if, oh, this is the sex appeal of hers right off the bat is kind of cringy for me to see it now. And okay, maybe that's just me, but I think they could have done much more. I don't know exactly what you could have done with Cara, but I know there's a lot more that can be done. There's so much that can be done with makeup and outfits to play into her maturity. And I'm not getting it from you showing her right off the bat like this. If we were going to show her body like this, maybe it could have been revealed at a certain point in time that helped heighten the chemistry between the two characters. You're trying to draw in an audience to something that they don't know. And you could have done it with something everyone understands, relationships. But we want to see this complex, intense relationship with mystery and will they, won't they between two mature characters, not freaking kids. Because in the movie, in that very first scene, they try to explain their kind of relationship dynamic. They try to explain it that he's kind of really trying to get her. And he's a kind of smooth, suave guy, but she's got her walls up because she doesn't really trust him. Why? Because he's a player and he, you know, bangs all these women and stuff like that. But when you think about how this actually seems like a bunch of kids doing space stuff, you don't really buy that kind of narrative. You don't really buy that this kid has such a huge sexual history and stuff like that. And I don't really buy that she's really tired of dealing with men of that sort of type of thing. I don't really buy that these two are really mature adults. And even the costume design, when Valerian and Lorelai come to this planet to show themselves in their kind of undercover garb and not in full agency clothes, which would have probably made them look more mature, but they came out in this kind of teenage, like hipster type stuff, and they're just bouncing around sort of in their arrival because yeah, they do want to look undercover and blend. Yeah, it made sense kind of in the storyline, but it definitely didn't help to cultivate the idea that this is a mature couple. Let's face it, the show creators' first mission for these people played into how much they're childlike, not only with their outfits, but they literally put them on a freaking school bus. Look at this, it's a school bus. They're sitting in a school bus. I mean, this guy's character didn't seem suave or anything like that. Look, if a woman rejects you off the beginning, I want to follow through the movie how he's able to bring her walls down. You shouldn't have to spoon feed what the relationship is and what's really going on to the audience, but they did that. They had Valerian literally say up to Lorelai, oh, I know you really like me, you know, I'll be the one for you. And yeah, I get it, he's trying to take down her walls. And she calls him out on his BS because he's supposedly slept with so many women, like I believe that, because he looks like a freaking boy. But how does he respond? He responds by immediately being like, oh yeah, oh no, I can be committed, oh yeah, I'll marry you, I'll marry you. How about that? I thought about it since like a day ago, you know, and now I think, yeah, let's get married. Yeah, that sounds real mature. No, this movie really frustrates the hell out of me. Again, not even because it's fucking racist, but just because it sucked so bad showing me these kids and asking me to believe that they have huge sexual histories and that this guy is a super suave cowboy manly man in space, you know, seducing so many women, when he as an actor is known for his boyish good looks. Look at these articles, look at these quotes. In 2017, at the same year that Valerian came out, an article was written by Lynn Hirschberg of W Magazine. And in it, she says, DaHaan, who was dressed in dark jeans and a woolly crew neck sweater, is so boyish. Although he's 31, he looks closer to 20, and he has such clear light blue liquid eyes that everything he says has a dreamy quality. And in an article written by Detroit News, DaHaan's boyish looks is pointed out. Look at these comments on a video of him talking about how he's casted for younger roles. He has feminine facial features, and thus that's why he looks younger than he is. He's a pretty boy. Really? He looks like he's 18 years old, and he's 31. And these are comments on videos in which he addresses how he plays much younger roles. The thing is, he wants to be able to play a much wider variety of different characters, but he apparently is quite well aware of his boyish looks, and hopefully it doesn't limit him too much in life. And so he even gives a sort of comment that, you know, he will get older and he will start playing much older roles, I guess, but it is actually a thing with him. And you know what she does? She kisses him on the cheek. What? Don't give him anything yet. Let me see more of an engagement. Let me see him pull down your walls more. You don't have to actually be like, yeah, I do kind of like you. Just let me see it. They did both. Not only did they actually spoon feed what their relationship status is to us right from the beginning without it letting us figure it out with intrigue about them, they actually also did shoot the scenes as if asking us to really care about how she kind of takes a longer look at him. No, I didn't need her to take this longer look at him after she already sort of kissed him, after she already kind of gave him validation and didn't really shoot him down earlier when he was like, I know you actually really like me. Her walls weren't truly up, there was no real engagement, and guy, this first scene was freaking terrible. What was the real kind of fighting that they were really doing? It didn't really make any sense. And like, why would she kind of mount him like that? What was this fight even really about? There was nothing really convincing about it. It's supposed to be like a combat thing, where we're supposed to believe that these guys are both of these capable fighters, experienced military commando type people. And this is just kind of a fun play, flirty thing that they do when they combat each other sometimes. But it didn't seem like there was any real driving force behind why they were doing that in this first scene. Honestly, this movie felt like a bunch of high school kids going on space adventures. Yo, fuck that shit. I could have been drawn in if you showed me a real relationship that sounded kind of interesting, where it really was a kind of suave, more cool guy trying to take down those walls of this very beautiful woman who actually does have her walls up and isn't really trusting of him. And we get to decipher through all the clues of the thing about what their real relationship is. So that's why I think Valerian sucks balls. It sucks balls right off the bat, because Valerian and the City of the Thousand Planets was not Valerian and Laureline. And I am not even trying to make a kind of commentary about how they're removing a woman from the front role on the title. I'm not talking about sexism here. I'm straight up saying they screwed up on what could have been the most bankable reason why somebody as a couple would watch this. This cool, intense relationship that could have happened between these two characters only if you were capable of believing that they're actually mature people with capable fighting skills and a long previous relationship histories with many other partners supposedly. Something to believe that these aren't simply kids straight out of high school flying doing space adventures. I didn't want to see a bunch of kids jumping around different stuff. I don't know. I think the number one reason why this movie sucked comes straight from that first scene that we see with Valerian and Laureline. Zero chemistry, zero maturity, zero belief, zero anything. This movie sucks balls.